You're listening to the T21 Podcast, brought to you by Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks. Our mission is to bring life and wellness to families who are advocating towards a community of inclusion for individuals with Down syndrome. Hello and welcome to the T21 Podcast. My name is Chloe Jones, and joining with me as always is Amy Bullard.
Hey guys!
Here on the T21 Podcast, we explore topics that are relevant to the Down syndrome community in 21 minutes or less. And today is a really exciting topic because it is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. It's October.
Yay!
But first, I want to invite you to like this video and subscribe to this podcast. And if you find that one of these topics resonates with you, or if you want to share a special video for Down Syndrome Awareness Month, please share this with your friends and family. We want to get this information out to as many people as possible, and you can help us do that. Now, on to today's topic, Down Syndrome Awareness Month. It's going to be more informational today, whereas most of our podcasts are more conversational, but we want to just get this information to you, and I think it's very important. But first, what is Down Syndrome Awareness Month? So we'll start with the basics. Down Syndrome Awareness Month was established in the 1980s as a way to promote acceptance and inclusion of people with Down syndrome, which is a genetic condition, if you don't know, caused by the presence of an extra chromosome 21. So awareness months like this are important because they shine a spotlight on community that deserves visibility, support, and respect. But the real goal, it's not just about knowing what Down syndrome is, it's about understanding who individuals with Down syndrome are, and that, more importantly, valuing who they are as a human, not about just what they can do, not about what just they can contribute, but valuing them because they are a human being just like us. So
that was wonderful, yeah. Mm-hmm. So advocacy has come a long way, and awareness has come a long way, but we still have a way to go. So we want to talk about why advocacy still matters. So we've been advocating for a lot of years, but we want to continue that. So we've come a really long way. I mean, we have inclusion in the classrooms. We have early intervention, years and years and years ago, we didn't have EXE, early childhood special education, and we have that now. We have social media that, people can go in and put plugs on there and show off, what their kiddos are doing. And
you go into Target, there's huge posters of models with Down syndrome.
Right, yeah. So we've come a really, really, really long way. But we still have more to go. So here's the truth. Being visible isn't the same as being valued. And I know that you have a really great example of that.
Yeah. Well, something I noticed working here at Upside Down Mercantile, which if you didn't know, we help individuals with Down syndrome create businesses and they sell it here. We're on this really cool street in Springfield, Missouri. Whenever you walk into our store, there's pictures lining the walls. They're just out of camera right here, but they're lining the walls of these beautiful portraits of people with Down syndrome. And some people walk in and they look around and they immediately get tears in their eyes. And they say, tell me the story of this shop. Like, what is this? I have to know. And that's a really an amazing experience. People that have never met someone with Down syndrome sometimes are like, what is this? I have to know. There's some people that come in and look around and I tell them our story and they turn around and walk out. And it just shows that visibility is not the same as valuing. So I think that's so important, but it's so cool that we still get to advocate and we still get to show and give awareness to people with Down syndrome, even with the volunteers here.
You tell that story to them and they go home and they think about that. And, maybe you changed somebody's life that day and you don't know that. Maybe you changed their viewpoint on what things are. So maybe they'll come back in someday. So even though we've come a long way with advocacy, our individuals with Down syndrome still face a lot of discrimination. And one of the things that's kind of near and dear to my heart is employment discrimination. And despite our individuals being capable and willing, actually some of the most willing individuals I have, workers. Right? The hardest, if it's something that they're passionate about, right? Like, let's talk about that. None of us want to do a job that we're not passionate about. But oftentimes we have employers that look at the Down syndrome face of our individuals, and it turns them off because they don't know. It's a fear of the unknown, right? And so there's discrimination. And so breaking through those barriers, I do also want to let everyone know on the podcast that October is also National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And so you might see a lot of plugs for different agencies saying, hey, like, we do employ people with Down syndrome or with autism or whatever it is, with disabilities in general. And with that, Upside Down is a business that supports individuals with specifically Down syndrome. We have a coffee shop, T21 that also does, and we have many, many others. But employment is one area. Medical bias, we have some healthcare professionals that we kind of steer our families to because they're wonderful, but we still have some outdated beliefs. And not so many years ago, we had doctors telling families like, hey, your son or daughter was born with Down syndrome and you need to, do something, put them away in a group home or wherever, which is horrible. And thankfully our families did not do that. But that medical bias is still there. Limited independence. A lot of people believe that our kiddos cannot be independent or live independently, which, they might need supports, right? And they might need more intensive supports or less intensive supports. But just like Chloe and I, we need different things in life. Our individuals need different things in life as well. And then just stereotyping individuals with Down syndrome for the good and the bad, right? So sometimes people are like, they're the happiest people and, they're going to love the life out of you kind of approach. And although that is very true for some of our individuals, it's not for others, right? So I think the advocacy is super important in those respects, and just knowing that like discrimination is still out there and people are still stereotyping, and we've got to break those barriers down and provide truth. So we want them to be included appropriately.
Yes, exactly.
So,
well, after hearing all of that, you're probably wondering, how can I make a difference? Because that seems like a lot. Right. But there's lots of things that you can do more than just a social media post that says #Down syndrome awareness, not bashing those. Please do those as well. Wear your crazy socks.
Yes.
Wear a blue and yellow ribbon. Like, those things are important, but there's other things you can do too. For instance, you can listen to voices in the community. You can follow self-advocates. There's a ton on social media. There's parents and organizations that center the voices of people with Down syndrome. A few great ones are the National Down Syndrome Society, or NDSS, the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, and local advocacy groups like Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks, who sponsors this podcast. We have tons of really awesome resources for our families, and if you're wanting to get involved, you can email info@dsgo.life. I'll have it in the description so that you can even do more in your local community for them. Other things you can do is support inclusive businesses. Like Amy was talking earlier, there is a lot of businesses that employ individuals with disabilities and those that employ individuals with Down syndrome. So even many in our town, and I love going somewhere and seeing someone with Down syndrome working. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so awesome that you are part of this business. And so there's many that you can do and support. One of them, actually, I found recently, the NDSS, who I mentioned just a moment ago, the National Down Syndrome Society. They have a page on their website that has a whole list of entrepreneurs with Down syndrome and a link to all of their businesses so you can support them, which is really cool.
That is really cool.
I know. And I'm going to link them in the description as well. And there's also Upside Down Mercantile, which is where we're filming right now. You can shop upsidedown.com. We have an online store, or you can come to our business on Commercial Street in Springfield, Missouri, and we have 18 different brands developed by people with Down syndrome. Another way that you can support our locals with Down syndrome in a more physical way. And lastly, you could advocate for policy change. You could support legislation that improves access to education, healthcare, and job opportunities for individuals with Down syndrome, and you can also find that on the NDSS website. So, lots of really quick firing out some answers.
And we have come a long way, but we have a long way to go. And so the more that people can educate themselves and understand what we're actually advocating for, right, the more change we can see.
Yes.
So,
yeah. valuing them, they're fully capable, they're fully loved. Yes, exactly. Well, Down Syndrome Awareness Month isn't just about facts, and like I said, posting cute pictures of our friends with Down syndrome on social media. It's about human dignity. It's about recognizing that every person, regardless of how many chromosomes they have, deserves a life of opportunity, inclusion, and respect. So let's move beyond awareness. Let's keep advocating, keep listening, and keep showing up. And until next time, we hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see you next month. If you would like to learn more about Upside Down Mercantile, you can go to shopupsidedown.com or visit us on Commercial Street in Springfield, Missouri. If you have a topic you'd like to know more about, you can email them to info@dsgo.life.